secret job. My secret job, Richard Mark DeVos.
Good evening, Mr. Contest Master, fellow audience members, and especially our guests. Many of you may think that you know me. During the year and a half that I've been in this club, to improve my speaking skills, I've held two jobs, first for my father in sales, and second as co-creator of evolvetheflavor.com. But I also have a secret job on the side. And in fact, it's so secret that I don't even know what I am going to do until I receive a phone call. And I last received that phone call on November 3rd in the morning, and I picked it up, and it was my handler and pilot, Mr. Bill Rovnick. And he ordered me to immediately come down to the Naples Municipal Airport, where, of course, we held the last speech contest on 11/11/11 for Veterans Day, and to quickly board the unmarked Cessna plane that would be sitting right next to the terminal. So I boarded the plane, and I met my political comrade in arms, none other than Mr. Jason Bernanke, none other than the son of Mr. Ben Bernanke of Collier Communique fame, of course, quantitative easing fame. So, I was not alerted to what we would be doing until we were soon in the air. I soon found out we were headed to New York City, and we would land in New York LaGuardia Airport. We would hop into an unmarked car and would drive directly to the Occupy Wall Street protests. And once we were there, I was alerted by Mr. Jason Bernanke, who was my superior officer. He had already made contacts with the Occupy Wall Street Central Bank. Of course, we were going to use an injection of credit into the Occupy economy to drive up a boom in prices, followed by a bust, which we would then use to bring in the police to end the protest. But first, a little bit of background. When each Occupy protester came to the protest, they were issued 100 Occupy dollars. And they were encouraged to start businesses and to invest in food and creating a good atmosphere for the long-term nature of the protest. And some of them did just this. They started businesses. They did very well. But many were just simply lazy. They used the money to buy food, and soon they were left with no money in their wallet, smelly clothes, and that's why they called them, a lot of them, the flea party. So we thought that we would, after the economy had fallen, we thought that we would inject this money into the Occupy economy, 50,000 Occupy dollars at 5% interest. And we would drive up the euphoria of this false boom. So it did just that, and individuals who were previously without a shirt and perhaps defecating on the grass in the park were seen amongst friends, well-fed and well-clothed and having a good time. Businesses boomed shortly thereafter. There were lines outside the tents for food and for even things like shoe shining and entertainment. But then there were also individuals who simply took the credit, spent it all again, and then ended up, again, without a shirt on their back, because once they couldn't pay the loan, we literally did take the shirts off their back. We called in all of the assets that were not paid for. We left the Occupy protesters much worse off than they were before. So, what I want to leave you with is this. And of course, Mr. Jason Bernanke called this policy in a joke in light of his father, the quantitative pleasing of the occupying crowd. So they would be lulled in by this false boom. They would, with their lack of business skills and lack of business acumen, would be put on full display, and they would soon be left more hopeless and more just displeased and just out of it than ever before. We use this to target a specific day that we would come in, call in the local police and the local politicians, including Mayor Bloomberg, and we would pick a specific day to have the police come in the middle of the night to break up the protests and to actually end the movement worldwide. So this is, of course, a fictional story. I wanted to leave you. You thought it was serious, right? I wanted to leave you with two distinct lessons, and the first is, you may think you know who your friends are, or you may think you know who I am, but unless you're following me around all day, you really don't. Second of all, is that there is a secret agenda behind the scenes that is perhaps manipulating things to bring about results and to not trust the mainstream media, especially when we're talking about Mr. Ben Bernanke and quantitative easing and the great tradition of the Call Your Communique Club. Mr. Congressman.
Maybe 1 minute of time silence, please.